It was called health class, and it was taught by a gym teacher.
It was integrated with my PE class.
It had like human growth and development.
Flash, it's like family life and sexual health.
What was the sex ed at your school like?
It was a lot about drugs. Wasn't about sex. I don't remember. I think I remember one time the school nurse came in and told us about STIs, and she might have had the banana. I don't know. I wonder if I even remember the banana, or if I'm like projecting just like the cultural image of the banana from movies or something. But we didn't talk anything about sex. I remember there were posters all about like syphilis and HIV, but it was all about drugs and overdosing. I remember watching really intense videos of like parents of like, I guess, teen addicts who like overdose, who like cry. It was like just really intense. Obviously like don't do drugs is important, but it seems a little weird to me because I was like, this is a health class and it's only focused on like hard drugs.
I don't even remember being taught anything about like, just mechanics, like just about like your period and maybe what to do if you're pregnant, or maybe like how, like that you should use condoms. But they definitely didn't really teach us about like birth control methods. Like I never learned anything about any type of birth control method except for like the pill, if even. And it was obviously never about like how to have good sex or how to like be pleasured, or even how to like how to have your own vice and your own like say. I remember like I never knew how to speak up during sex, how to say like that hurts. I wasn't even comfortable with that. They never taught us how important that is.
My first year of college, I would get all these calls from my friends and they would be like, oh my gosh, like I'm dealing with this or I'm dealing with that, like I have this weird rash or something like that and I don't know what it is. And it was only my friends that I went to high school with who would call me like with all these questions and stuff, and I would just be like, oh my gosh, this is like my school's fault. They had no idea how to get like birth control or anything like that, so it just really shows.
We had to like make a song at the end of the sex ed, I don't know, the class, and like sing it in front of the class, like about like STDs and stuff.
Oh, we had to do that too. Wait.
Remember somebody that I used to know?
Yeah.
It was somebody that I used to bone.
I wouldn't say it was sex negative, but it wasn't sex positive. They weren't saying it's okay to have sex when you're a teenager and it's okay to explore these things and be curious. They were just really talking more about the anatomy aspect of everything.
I mean, anything gay. I think being just gay was taboo, you know?
Everything was heteronormative. And I identify as a lesbian, so like I really had no sex ed. Like I didn't know how to stay safe having sex with another woman. That was taboo. It was off limits. You didn't bring that up.
I came out in 7th grade, but I don't remember being like, you know, in health class, like, we need to talk about gay sex, because I don't think I was out at that point, you know? And that would have like been me othering myself even more.
Any useful information that you should apply. You're like, okay, I know what chlamydia is, but like, how does chlamydia get contracted? Like, you don't really know. Mm-hmm. And just any question around sex at all, I had to look up, especially gay sex.
Yeah, I feel like I had to Google a lot of things and just...
Yeah, like I would Google like how to give a blowjob, just anything, honestly. I watched a lot of like, I guess like Tumblr and like porn and stuff like that, but like I feel like that wasn't really like the most informative thing ever. I mean, maybe it was like, this is how you do it, but like it didn't teach you like how to like get like actually start having sex. Like it's like, okay, like we're gonna make out now, like does that mean we have to have sex? Like
yeah.
I didn't know what was going on. I think it was so much trial and error and like uncomfortable experiences.
When I was like figuring out if I was gay or not, I would like Google like, am I gay quizzes, and then like that would lead me down a rabbit hole of like sex and stuff like that. So yeah, Tumblr and then those little quizzes.
I was constantly Googling shit.
Really?
What?
What?
I don't know. Just like
questions you have.
Yeah, just like
Why?
questions.
Just anything?
Yeah, like is what I'm going through normal?
Oh.
Like those questions like were constantly going through my mind. Like, is what I'm going through normal? Like in relation to like my period, in relation to sex, in relation to like masturbation, everything, like consent, birth control, tampons.
Maybe for better or for worse, this was before the internet. So in a lot of ways, I think that was maybe helpful because we weren't sort of bombarded with the same kind of imagery. And like, you know, if you're just trying to find out kind of factual information about sex and the risks of sex and sort of healthy sex and all of those kinds of things, I think sometimes it's really difficult to parse all of that on the internet because you get bombarded with so many things, and some of it's really unhealthy and some of it's healthy, but you really have to sort through it on your own.
I think that I did things like subconsciously looking up sexual things, but not realizing that it was because I had a lack of education in school.
In high school, like YouTube was just starting. And so, you know, that's when like I discovered that like porn existed, which was definitely really bad porn that I was seeing. But on the other hand, it was at least exposing me to like, okay, like I could think about like what I actually want out of sex or what things are pleasurable. And I can see, you know, sex that isn't just between a man and a woman. Again, all of the sex I was seeing was still like pretty badly made porn that was definitely like for men, but still it was at least making me realize like, there might be like things outside of what I've been taught that I might be interested in.
Just because you have the internet at your disposal doesn't mean you can vet the information you get online. It doesn't mean the information is inclusive, and it also doesn't mean that you'll be searching for the right questions, because sometimes you have to, I feel like when you go to the internet, you have to know what you're looking for, and sometimes you don't with a sexually related question. You don't even know how to enter that.
I feel like if I received adequate sex ed, like I wouldn't have like looked down upon sex for a while, like, because in Nigeria, before I came to America, like I just never really thought about sex, because like they were just so against sex, so I never really thought about it. But like I feel like if I had been taught like about sex earlier, I wouldn't have had that mindset about everything. Also, I feel like when I was younger, I had like a stigma against like STDs, but like now that like I've had like a bit of sex ed, like I just know like an STD doesn't like define who a person is.
Talking more about sex, for sure. I can't speak to everyone else's experience, but I know that we've ran polls with our followers and readers about like who all thinks that their sexual education in primary school prepared them for their sex lives. And like 98% of like our readers said not at all. And I've read other similar studies that reflect that. So whatever public school or private school sex ed is peddling and trying to teach isn't resonating with young people, and they're saying so. So I would say, one, fix the basics. I would try to make the language more sex positive. Definitely think there's huge gaps in queer inclusivity. I think we need to talk more about queer sex and how queer people love, and I think not only is that important for sexual health of these young queer people, but also it's important for just the social aspect of like normalizing that other people love and have sex differently.
There's all of this talk now about toxic masculinity and rape culture and all of that kind of stuff, and I think that a lot of that really does go back to the ways in which we're taught about kind of the binarization of sex to begin with, right? If we saw sex and gender as a much more fluid instantiations that potentially shift over people's lifetime, then I do think that we could start to undo some of the kind of heteropatriarchal norms associated with those kinds of cultures. And I also think that learning just about the weird sex that animals have is just both sort of fun, but also helps to legitimate non-normative, however you want to put it. It's like non-hegemonic maybe forms of sexuality or sex and gendered embodiment, and to actually show that those things aren't not normal, rather that they are actually quite normal in terms of the range of behaviors of living organisms. You know, ideally I would love to see all of that kind of stuff in classrooms.
I follow 2 Instagram accounts. One is Wildflower Sex Shop, and the other one is Shop Spectrum Boutique, or Thongria. And these are 2 women. They both own like online sex shops, and they'll always do like other Instagram stories, Q&As.
KillerInTheSweetThing.com. Planned Parenthood is great. If you're queer, I think like the Trevor Project and things like that, I think they have information based on that.
I really love YouTube. My favorite sex YouTuber is, her name is Shannon Boodrum, Shan Boody, Boody, on Instagram. She's a really good resource. She's a woman of color, very sex positive. Stevie Bobby is another one of my favorite YouTubers. She's a lesbian, really sex positive, answers a lot of questions that don't typically get answered.
Google's still pretty good, but you have to be careful what you're looking at.
That's also true.
For like, I think Planned Parenthood is really good if you like don't know which birth control you want to take. They have quizzes and stuff. It's very thorough.
The Planned Parenthood website is a good one.
I still think that Our Bodies Ourselves is an amazing book. I still highly recommend it. And they've I forget which edition they're on now, but they've updated it. So they've updated it to be more pertinent to the world that we live in now, but also updated a lot of the scientific stuff.